What is going on? I want to thank each and every one of you for coming by to Vape with a Viking. Sorry for the squeaky chair. So today I actually have a kit review for you today. It is the Jackaroo by Vandyvape and consultant Sam, the vaping bogan, which kind of makes sense why it's called the Jackaroo. The Jackaroo in Australia is a term for a ranch hand or laborer, and that's kind of where Vandy's going with now with the Jackaroo and like the Trident. They are a hardy, indestructible mod line essentially. Does come with a sub-ohm tank, which I guess due to literature and things that I've looked up, it's just called the Jackaroo tank. So, a little sub-ohm coil on there. Not the original drip tip that it comes with. It comes with like a little shorty drip tip. This is I've been playing with this because I have a stash of 510 drip tips and I never use them anymore. So I'm like, start playing with a whole bunch of different drip tips. I got super long ones, goofy ones, but just really old drip tips. So, but before we get into the ins and outs of this little indestructible G10 plated kit here, Vikings Advocacy Minute happens every single time. Come on, you know this. So, like I tell you every single time, you don't have to be involved, even though you should be, but please be informed. If we wake up tomorrow and there's no more vaping and you don't know, it's kind of on you. So, a couple new things around. I know, like Canada, they are. I've seen literature that they are basically trying to pass or have passed, at least in one province, stuff just like South Australia, where you in a vape shop, you can't vape in a vape shop, you can't display nicotine, which means you can't display your juices, no testers, stuff like that. So it is spreading more than probably most people think or know. So please, please, please be informed. Knowledge is power. Because the nice thing is even though everybody says don't tell people not to get involved, Viking, how dare you? If I tell you to get informed, and you get informed and you see what's going on, more than likely you're going to get involved. So hey, win-win there. But let's get back to this little Jackaroo kit. We'll dive down on it. We'll go through the functions of it, show you the sub-ohm tank, all that kind of good stuff. We'll come back up, we'll vape on it, and I'll give you my thoughts. So for now, let's drop the hammer on the Jackaroo.
Alright, so what I got for you today is a kit. We do have the Jackaroo by Vandyvape here. Alright, and on one side you'll have your quick scan code, you'll have your scratch authenticity, and then your UPC. And nothing on the sides here, a little picture there. And on the back you're going to have your features, you'll have your kit contents, and then some how to get a hold of Vandyvape stuff here. Warning, serial number, and then we'll open this guy up. So then on the inside you will have your mod, which I got the red, and it is in the G10 panels. You will have your sub-ohm tank, which has a frosted PMMA glass section there. Glass section. It's not glass, but hey. And then you have at the bottom extra O-rings, more extra O-rings, and an Allen key. You have a spare coil, or excuse me, extra coil. And this one in here is your Mesh 50, which is 0.3 ohms at 40 to 60 watts. You can see it is kind of one of those fence style meshings. You will get your USB cable for upgrading of the mod itself. I always suggest do not charge your battery in the device with this. This is good for upgrading only. And then you'll get your usual literature, your battery safety and 510 literature, your warranty card, and your user manual for your Jackaroo. And on the bottom of it, you'll have designed and manufactured by Vandyvape, serial number, 510 pin, which yes is protruding, but is not hybrid safe. Sub-ohm tanks should never go on max because that pin can free float. So you definitely don't want to ever throw them on a Mac. So The tank itself, you do have dual-sided airflow, and it is going to be lock one direction and lock open is pretty smooth. You got your drip tip here, which should be 510. And it's the O-ringless 510, not 810. You do have your O-ring in there. And the fill system is going to be quarter turn. And you have one kidney-shaped fill hole there. And the included coil is your Mesh 80. And it's a 0.15 at 50 to 90 watts. And this guy, if you see that mesh is a whole lot tighter than what the other one is. Definitely tighter in there. So we'll get to the mod itself here. So on the top you have Jackaroo. You do have your gold-plated 510 up there. And you do have this rubber construction here. And then the panel on the side, which is removable, and you can buy other panels for these. And then on the bottom, you're going to have designed and manufactured by Vandyvape. And this is going to be your battery holder here. And you just unscrew it. A couple threads are good. It does denote negative at the bottom here. It does have this little 18650 adapter. Grab the old flashlight here. If you look down in there, you'll see it does denote positive at the bottom down there as well. Alright, so you got marked positive in the mod and marked negative on the case here. So like I said, can take 18650 with the included adapter all the way up to 21700 on that guy here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 clicks will turn it on. And of course 5 clicks for off. Alright, so in here it's 1, 2, 3 clicks. And that'll highlight your P for your power. So that's your different mode here. So you have bypass. You have voltage mode. And then you have your temperature control, stainless steel, nickel, titanium, and then back to your power. And then you just take and hold both the up and down, or plus and minus down for 3 seconds, and that'll bring you to this screen. So here you have your different settings, your up and down there. So, and then your fire button will be your select. So here you'll have your different modes. So if you want to, you could turn off temperature control, bypass, just depending on what you would like here. And then that is your selection up and down. So that deselects it, and that selects it. And then fire button to go down. C, you do have your color. So you can change your colors in there. There's all the color options there, which we will probably, the stock one's kind of cool, but the greens, that's pretty vivid there. Looks pretty good there. And then your ARR is what they're considering their auto resistor renew. It's basically the auto set. You'll see in a lot of these kind of mods will do. And then fire your locking key ignition. So when you put that on, it can be fired, but you can't, do your up and down. So it's just kind of like a screen lock type deal. And then you have reset. And that'll reset everything back to factory. All right, so now that's that with the color change there. Okay, and then back into the menu again. We do have different DIY functions you can do. Your screen brightness. So it can get as dim as can be, or pretty darn bright. We'll put it back to where it was. Probably, go a little higher there. There we go. And then you do have your screen timeout. And then you do have a reset here. Your version, ID, and then back. So that is that on the menu. Okay, so then what's left to do is we'll put the atomizer on top. And I don't know why they weren't included, but the site that I did get this from, I got this from Mike Green, and he, of course, got it through Evolution Vaping. They were running a deal where if you bought the kit, you also got a bubble glass and a straight glass that were actual glass. So, what we're going to do is like with any sub-ohm tank and coil, we're going to pre-juice up to let it sit and saturate that cotton in there, and we're going to be using some Darkstar Zolo, one of my favorites. Really low, but Zolo right there is the one I like to basically consider what is a grape hard candy, but it's with that other berries in there. It's not, just grape. So, and just throw a little bit of it in there. Get that nice and saturated. If you want to, you can even throw a little bit here on the outside. Get it nice and going, but you don't have to do the outside, the inside, and then letting it soak for about 5-10 minutes is probably sufficient. Alright, so here's what it'll look like with the bubble glass installed, which some might not like the bubble glass just because this is supposed to be more of an indestructible mod. So this little protective lip that normally the glass sits behind, if you use the bubble, of course, it will not be protected anymore. So quarter turn and fill it up. All right, close enough to full there. And put the top back on there. Quarter turn. All right, and we'll let that sit for about 10 minutes. So we'll come back up on top. We will vape on it, and I'll give you my final thoughts on the Jackaroo Kit by Vandyvape.
All right, back up top with the Jackaroo. So, a couple things out of the way. Here it is, a single 21700, 2700, 18650 little mod here. The panels you can get are available in resin or this G10 material. All rubberized. You got your venting up top. You have, of course, your little battery compartment here, down here, which is kind of nice and neat. A little stiff little wing here, so you know it's not going to be flopping around on you, especially if you're a laborer. I've been using this for, it's getting on to almost about 2 weeks, I believe, at work. And if you know, I am a metal worker, so metal dust gets everywhere. I've destroyed at least one caliburn pod because the magnets collecting metal dust. So I'm really, really hard on mods at work. It just happens. Dropping them. I destroyed my Torn months ago by smashing it between metal. So I'm pretty hard on it. So the nice thing is with this is one of those fits for me. And the Aegis line is really good. The biggest thing is I don't like sub-ohming. If you know or seen any of the lives with the Rising Vapors or my own lives I do individually or just talk about it in reviews, I just don't do sub-ohm tanks. But this little guy, and I still have the stock one in there, the 1.5, which is the one, you saw the two different meshes. That's the one with the crazy thick looking mesh. I've got over 600 pulls on it alone, and I've had three different juices in it. Right now I'm running some Athena by Darkstar, which is a strawberry kiwi bubble gum. Really good stuff. I ran Zolo in it for a long time, which is by Darkstar, which is like a grape Jolly Rancher, and I even threw some custard in here from E&B before the Athena, and it's actually working really well. I'm pretty surprised. I wouldn't put it up there with like the like the Falcon King, because that thing is a flavored insane thing for a sub-ohm, but it also drinks juice way more than this guy does. But the other nice thing about this one, and I do have the included bubble glass. I did actually buy this out of the UK, thanks to Mike, and Mike Green, big supporter of the channel, works with Darkstar. So I actually bought this from him, and the Evolution Vaping was the company that he picked it up from, and they had a little special where you got a glass section and a bubble glass section free when you ordered it. Normally, when you have the regular tank on there, though, these edges here on the top cap and on the bottom, how they bulge out here, that tank is actually on the inside. So not only did they make sure that the mod itself is going to be very, very not prone, but resistant to any damages from drops and stuff like that. So's the sub-ohm tank. So I thought that was a really, really neat idea. You know, because it is IP67, waterproof, shock resistant. And then the other kind of cool feature is the coil in it is the same tank and coil that they have now put on the Trident mod, which is a rubberized working man's version of kind of a mech mod. So Vandyvape's kind of honing in on some of the everyday laborers and stuff. So I thought that was really good. But you know, again, this is at a 1.5. I'm running at 60 watts. And tasty. The Zolo grape was good. The custard was okay. I don't think I could really get it all hot enough to get it really popping, but it was still good. And of course, Athena's tasting really good in it too. But a lot of the lighter kind of fruits or candies, I would say, is probably where this thing's going to shine than the heavier dessert custard flavors. So you know, I just listed off basically a bunch of pros. Probably another pro would be how they have this kind of almost like little knurling for your AFC, and it's fairly tight. So the good thing again with that is if you're a laborer or like I do, I have gloves on all the time, but the metal soaks oil eventually through the gloves into my hands, so my hands are always slippery. So tight AFCs are kind of a pain, but I like them because once I got it set, I don't have to worry about it moving around in my bag or anything. But this guy's kind of got the best of both worlds. It's kind of stiff, but because of that knurling, even if like oil or whatever on your hands, you can still move it fairly well. I usually have it at about halfway open, and it doesn't depend on the juice. The 3 different ones I've ran on here, about the same on the AFC. 60 to 65 watts, just depending, again, on the juice. And here is where it's going to be possibly a con, but I think it is a huge pro. This does have a USB port to charge. Don't do it. It's got a removable battery for updating. But they cleverly hid it behind the panel, so you actually have to take the 4 screws out of the panel to get to the USB. They did that for, I think, probably the main reason is to keep it so that you didn't have to have a plug or something to keep it dust free. But the other nice thing is it prevents easy access to go, well, I gotta charge it. I'm not gonna take the battery out, let's just charge it. So for me, that's a pro. To some of you, that's gonna be a huge con, because it's like I can't get to it easy. It's kind of a thing. Other pro, if you don't like the panels that came with, which when you're ordering it, hopefully you pick the panels you want. Panels are swappable from resin to G10. I'm not going to do the throw it against the wall, put it in a pool or anything like that. You know, my line of work, if I can use it at work and it still looks brand new, yeah, it's pretty durable. So, but yeah, anywhere from 50 to 60 bucks all over the internet. Pretty much just about everybody has it in stock. Yeah, so like I said, maybe the only con would be the USB. For some of you, the 510 might be a con. So, I don't know. Those are up to you. I think so far for especially my line of work, this thing is a must. This thing is a banging little mod and sub-ohm take. So, hats off to Vandyvape and, of course, to the Vaping Bogan who helped create this guy, or at least consult on this. So, shout out to you guys. But that is all I got today for the Jackaroo Kit. I want to thank each and every one of you yet again for coming by to Vape with a Viking, and I'll catch you later.